Before we get into this video, there's something that I completely missed. And after I went back and I was going through it and listening to it, I missed the fact of explaining to you that somebody using weaponized telepathy can make you say things that you typically otherwise would not say. Let's imagine that you're in a full conversation with somebody, right? Like you're talking to somebody and you're in full sentence about something that is that you're talking about that's relative to whatever your conversation is. However, while you're speaking, some words come out that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, that has no relevance to what you're talking about, and it's something that you typically would never say. But however, something just came out of there and it came out of your mouth and you're like, I wasn't even thinking that. And now you're trying to hurry up and cover up what you just said because you're just like, why did I just say that? Well, that's somebody or something using weaponized telepathy to force this thought out of your mouth, right? To force it to come out of your mouth. And you know for a fact it's not something that you would ever say, so, and don't try to blame this on every little thing that you make mistakes on. A lesser person would say that they were bewitched. Oh, I must be bewitched. But I guess the best way to explain this is it's a total eclipse of the mind. It's like, imagine your mind is the moon, okay? And out of nowhere, a sun appears behind that moon, right? So your mind is still there. However, this light radiates out of nowhere behind it. And now it's becoming kind of a problem because now it's not just your mind that is projecting its natural light. There's another light that's coming from like the outer rim that just kind of appears and just kind of peers out there. And yeah, so it's like a total eclipse of the mind. It's a trickery to control what is being projected from that image. Something else is coming out of there, and that's somebody weaponizing telepathy. And now let's get into it.
I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
It's the one, the only Alcor Star Child here, and I am sharing information with you that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And why I share this information, I don't even know. I don't think it's going to help the human species in any kind of way, but I am obviously compelled to share this information with you. And today we're going to talk about weaponizing telepathy. And the next video that I post about this topic is going to be about weaponizing telekinesis. So for me to explain weaponizing telepathy to you, I have to obviously use a couple of movies to help you understand, to get a visual of what I'm talking about, because I'm sure it's going to be hard for most of the humans who do listen to this for them to fully grasp what weaponizing telepathy really is. Most people think of telepathy as something that, is you're reading people's thoughts, you're reading their minds and stuff. It goes far deeper than just reading somebody's thoughts. And the other thing is reading somebody's thoughts is not like the way that you may think it would be. Like when you see in movies when they're reading somebody's thoughts, you hear like a full sentence, like as if somebody spoke it out loud. Like somebody said, I had cheesecake for breakfast and now I'm ashamed because I'm getting fatter or whatever, something silly like that. So you would think that in the movies they portray it as you're actually hearing just a full sentence being spoken out. I want you to try to understand that in people's minds, in your mind, you have multiple thoughts going on at one time. You're thinking about, you can be thinking about an issue with the car, thinking about what's going on with your boss, with your wife or your husband, and thinking about and listening to something that you're listening to, like listening to me right now. So as you're listening to me right now, you also have other thoughts in your mind. You don't just have this one singular thought of just listening to what I'm saying, but you also have other things going on in your mind. So for people to think that when you read somebody's thoughts, you're just going to read one sentence, you're going to hear a bunch of gibberish because there's going to be a whole bunch of things going on at one time in the person's mind. On top of that, other things are in the back of their mind that are going on, other things that are processing, other thoughts that you don't bring to the forefront. See, your mind works in layers. There's multiple layers of thought going on at one time. This is the reason why you're able to, your heart beats, you're thinking about your breathing, all these other things that are going on. It's because thought is helping those things regulate, help those things go, while other thoughts are thinking other things, right? And this is why sometimes you'll be thinking about something completely different than a thought that will pop up in your mind while you're thinking about something completely different. And it'll just pop up there and you'll be like, why the hell was I thinking about that? Right? Like you'll be thinking about, let's say your kid has some math problem or something and you're trying to help them figure it out because they have it for homework. And then all of a sudden something pops up in your head about grandma, and it splinters its way into your mind as the moment you're thinking, why am I thinking about that while I'm trying to figure this out, right? Like this is important right now. Well, that's because that's that other layer of thought that's going on in your mind while you're thinking about this math problem for your child to do their homework. These little layers of thought sometimes, pop up in between those things. So for you to just think that somebody, when they read your mind, they just hear just a clear sentence, just hearing a clear sentence as if it was just spoken out, doesn't work like that. Sorry, that's not how telepathy works. That's just a movie thing. But I will be using movies to help kind of get the point across about weaponizing telepathy. So I have a list of 7 things here. There are far more than what I'm going to share with you, but I am going to give you these 7 different scenarios, different things of how telepathy can be weaponized. To explain to you how dangerous telepathy is. It's not, like I said, it's not just learning somebody's deep, dark secrets. There's a lot more to telepathy than that. And look, there are different layers of telepathy too. There's different, say levels. We'll just say levels because it seems to be an easier way to explain to the human species because that's how people understand things. There are different levels to telepathy. You can have a very mild, let's say we'll just say level 0. Let's say like a 0 level telepathy. A 0 level telepathy is what every single person has. You all have a 0 level telepathy. Some people may be tapping into a 1 level telepathy, but everyone has the 0 level of telepathy. And what is 0 level telepathy? It is your primal telepathy. It's already in your DNA. It's there. It's not something that you're learned. It's not something. It's already there because the human species was, and I truly believe, did use an advanced telepathy at one time, or your descendants of a species, a human species that had advanced telepathy. Probably the 6th extinction of humans, because you're the 7th and you're about to be extinct for the 8th. Had the advanced telepathy, and for some reason you've gotten dialed all the way down to 0. So what's 0? 0 is basic telepathy, like that your child is hurt and or whatever, somebody's about to call, that's why they say your ears are ringing. That's like basic 0 telepathy. Everybody experiences that. Every single human has experienced 0 level telepathy. That's just to tell you that you have it. That it's just there. I want to say like a level 1 telepathy is somebody who actually just is able to tap into where they're they're starting to, the day unfolds for them before the day happens. Like events, they'll see events right before they happen, multiple times. That's like a level 1 telepathy. You're able to see those things. You're able to know what people are thinking before they say something. This is like a level 1 telepathy. It's very basic. That's just a basic level 1. So the stuff I'm going to be talking about is going to be much higher levels of telepathy than that. Far higher level of telepathy. So let's get through it. All right, so the first one is hallucinations. If somebody who has an advanced telepathy, they are able to make you see things that are not there. Like, and I don't mean just seeing like the apple pie on the counter and there's no apple pie there, right? Like, and that's another thing too. You can make somebody believe with weaponized telepathy that their senses are picking up on it too. Smell, touch, everything. Like they literally will think that this stuff is there. Like they will smell the apple pie. They can really smell it. Like it's because it's not foreign to them. So you can't force a telepathic thought. It's something that the human has never already experienced or hasn't, it has to be something that they've experienced. So that's the reason why they've already scanned your mind. They know what you've experienced, so they can recreate and hallucinate, give you a hallucination of something that's there, but it's not there. And this becomes more powerful than just an apple pie. We're talking about, if you've seen like I said, I have to go to movies. If you've seen the Scarlet Witch in her own show, I think it was called something with her and Vision, WandaVision. In WandaVision, she made an entire town, right? An entire town believe that, she gave them that she made them believe that there was something else going on, right? Like there was that they were living in like the sitcom, So you can, and you've seen also when in fact, let's just go backwards. If you saw Wanda from the Scarlet Witch in the Age of Ultron, when they first introduced her, what did she do? She made all these superheroes believe that they were seeing something that wasn't, like they were completely not in where they were, and they were hallucinating and seeing something else. Now, in the show and the movies, they make it like it's just magical powers. This is not magical powers. This is telekinesis, this is telepathy. So they do all this thing with all this red glowing eyes and red glowing stuff around her hands. That's just for aesthetics for you, the viewer, to say, oh, she's using this dark magic. It's telepathy. So all she's doing is making them believe that there's some place that they're not, right? Some place that's familiar to them. But then they realize that something is wrong in that reality, right? That they realize it's augmented. So it's advanced telepathy. You can make somebody believe that they're experiencing something that's really not there. Now, how far is the extent of that? You could probably do that. Somebody who is an extreme telepath, somebody who is, the highest level of telepathy, can probably hold on to a mind for as long as they like to. Like they could probably hold that mind for indefinite, as well as do other things and still have that person, living that hallucination, right? Like this being can go and do other stuff, and still that the person that they force a hallucination on can make them just believe that these things are happening. For whereas you see that, like she enchants a god, or she makes a god, Thor, believe that he's somewhere that he's not, but yet he says that fortunately he's mighty. And then you find out that the telepathy is a lot stronger than muscle and might, right? Like you can control a person's mind. So you take their will from them and you manipulate it with these hallucinations. The second one is mind control. So somebody with advanced telepathy, and mind control is different from a hallucination. A hallucination is you let them, you present them a world and you let them go into that world, right? That's what hallucinate. You just send them off into their made up world now, and you just let them go. Mind control is completely different. Mind control is like, let's say Professor X. You remember how many times have you seen Professor X take control of somebody's mind and make them do something against their own will? That's how powerful telepathy is. You can literally make somebody do something against their own will. What you're doing is the person may be able, so as you can see in the movie there, where when he takes over somebody's mind, I can't remember who it was, but when they take over somebody's mind like this, the person's still there, they still know what's going on, but they're controlling the person's body, right? Like they're controlling, because like I said, there's different layers in your mind that's going on, right? Like you may be thinking, like I said, you could be speaking a sentence, listening to something that somebody's talking to you, or listening to something on the radio, and at the same time jogging, right? Well, your mind has to think for your processing for your body to jog, to make the motions of jogging, or whatever you're doing. You're not just sitting there, paraplegic and just sitting there doing nothing as you're listening, right? Or as you're talking. No, you have motions going on. Right now, you probably are making some type of motion. Well, your mind is thinking to make those motions. You have to think to lift your hand. You have to think to lift your foot. So you get it. So somebody with advanced telepathy can take over those functions of your body. They can take over that part of your mind and make your body do things against your mind's will. Like your mind, you may be sitting there saying, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to step off the ledge. But the person is taking control, or the being is taking control of your mind by weaponizing their telepathy and making your body do things against your mind's will, right? The other layer of your mind, your rational part of your mind is saying, no, if I do that, I'm going to fall off this cliff and it could be very bad for me. But they're taking over the motor functions part of your mind and they're controlling it. So there could be two things going on at one time, and that's weaponizing telepathy. Another one is removing memory. So number 3 is removing memory. Weaponizing telepathy also means that you can search somebody's mind and see memories and stuff in their mind and take those memories from them. Completely remove memories out. Oh gosh, I have to go back to X-Men. Professor X removed the memories from, I think, Jean Grey and Wolverine. Right, like he suppressed memories. Like you can, weaponizing telepathy, you can suppress the memories of somebody that somebody had. You could take it away from them, and they probably could do this with, some of this stuff can probably be manufactured by a advanced alien species through mechanical devices. And the reason why I say that is because now I'm thinking about, well, look at what they did in the movie. What was that movie with Will Smith, where they would pull the little thing up and they would flash the light at people, and then all of a sudden the people's memories would be wiped, right? And then they would implant something. You all just saw something silly, a bunch of clowns or whatever stuff that they would say in that movie, Men in Black, right? They used a little thing to flash to wipe people's memories. So I'm not saying that some of these things cannot be, these weaponized telepathy things cannot be studied and used to make devices that can do this stuff too. I mean, obviously we had MK Ultra that was done here in America, and that was a real thing. So, and that was about, augmenting people's minds, because they wanted what was called the Manchurian Candidate. So none of this stuff is out of the realm of, the government knows about a lot of stuff that I'm talking about now. There's quite a few things that, that people who are in deep government know about some of this stuff. Maybe some of them they don't, but I'm sure some of them they do. So yeah, so you can remove memories from somebody, and the memory that you were actually right there in front of them, right? Like you can make them, like that you were there and you were doing something, and you can remove that memory, so they forgot that you were there. They completely forget. As well as weaponizing telepathy is the same thing too, is that you can actually erase yourself from their mind right at that moment, right? Like they don't even see you because you're telepathically blocking their ability to see you there. So yeah, removing memory. That's another way of weaponizing telepathy. Number 4 is creating false memories. So not just taking something away, but putting something in, making you believe something else, right? Like this is one of the reasons why the only things that I don't like about people who are remote viewers, because they are messing with minds. If they're messing with advanced people who have advanced telepathy, or beings that have advanced telepathy, they can easily, once you open up a channel for your remote viewing to one of these minds that are far more powerful than you, they're going to detect that immediately. They're going to detect it. It's not like they're not going to know that you've now opened up a channel with them. Once you open up with that channel with them, they can now implant false memories, false images. They can put whatever they want into your mind. And now, once that's open, they can do some serious damage. We're talking about somebody who's a remote viewer who has no idea. That's a white belt stepping into a black belt environment. They are literally just white belts, and they're stepping up against these black belts in telepathy, and they can literally change your personality by creating false memory and changing things in your mind, and changing slightly who you are, but not completely who you are. And they can do it to where it's extremely damaging to your psyche, and will screw you up for the rest of your life, and may actually put you in jail, because now you're having thoughts that you never would think that you would have these type of thoughts ever before. You're like, why am I thinking this? This is repulsive to me. This is not something I would ever entertain. But now all of a sudden, why do I have this urge to think about this thing? It's weird, and it's so. And this may have happened to you. You listen to me right now. This may have happened to you, and that just means it's a good possibility. It doesn't. I'm not going to say this is the actual cause of what happened for you to have this crazy thing start popping up in your head, but that's what they can do to you. And it's a possibility that may have happened to you. There may be a being with advanced telepathy that has screwed with your head and put false thoughts in your head and false memories in your head, right? Like they can do some serious damage with weaponizing telepathy and screwing with your memories and screwing with your behaviors, right? Like that's how dangerous this is. And that's the reason why I don't care for people who are remote viewers, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what world that they're stepping into, because they could be being misled, and because they're being misled, that channel that's open now, they're spreading that, and they're doting humans who don't understand what's going on, but they see that this person has showed that they actually have remote viewing. They have been able to say, hey, this is what's in the trunk of somebody's car, or this is what's over, what's in this stack of papers on this desk in this vault. No way I'd be able to get in there. And then they find out, hey, they knew what that was true. They really do have remote viewing. But then they go and screw around with other beings that are advanced telepathy, and next thing those beings really got them. They got them now. You're done. They can manipulate you in any kind of way that they want, and these remote viewers would never know. So yeah, creating false memories and creating false thoughts in somebody's head, that's another way of weaponizing telepathy. Number 5 is enchanting or enchantment, right? Like we've heard about this for a long time, enchantments and enchanting. Like this is all stuff that they've been talking about, through Dungeons and Dragon days, and probably longer ago than that. They probably did talk about enchantments in medieval times, that is going that far back, of enchanting somebody, mesmerizing somebody, bending somebody's will to, do stuff, for you, enchanting them, making them the love potion, right? Making somebody love you who typically would not love you, That's enchantment. And enchantment is nothing more than advanced telepathy. That's all it is. It's just one mind manipulating another mind. That's all it is. This is all the stuff I'm talking about falls in advanced telepathy. These are not magical powers. These are just telepathic. And all of these things go back, and no matter what level these are, 9, 10, these levels go all the way back to level 0, which is what all of you, it's like 0 would be the seed, right? A seed has the potential to become a massive redwood tree. A tiny seed. I think that redwoods come from trees, or redwood trees come from seeds. But think of it that way. Like, you have that seed in you. You all have that level 0, that seed. It's there. It just doesn't have, you just don't have the water. It's in the soil, but you're not getting the water and sunlight to get it to grow. It's just sitting there dormant. And if you were able to have a way to get the water and the sunlight to it, let's say the water. You have to get the water to it to give it more nourishment, so that way it can start to grow. And once it sprouts and it breaks through that soil, it gets that sunlight. And once it gets that sunlight, baby, it's game on, because now this thing is going to grow. And so it gets that sunlight, and now it starts raining. So now you're getting more of the nourishment, and you're getting that radiated sun. Now the sun isn't actually there, touching and massaging the plant. The sun is so far away. It's so far away. But the radiated energy, which you can't see, I mean, you can see the sun, but you can't really see the radiated energy. At least the humans aren't able to detect that yet, because your eyes aren't developed to detect it, and your mind isn't developed to understand how to train your eyes to detect it. But that radiated energy that is hitting that plant, that's helping it grow and nourish, that is like your mind. That is like advanced telepathy. You haven't gotten the water inside of your mind, right? Like inside. So yeah, let's say your skull is the inside of your skull, which is where your brain is. Your brain is that seed. You need something or someone or some species to actually unlock your mind to go in there and put the water in. Once the water gets into the mind, and that sounds kind of crazy, once they sprinkle that water onto that seed mind of yours, then it can start to grow, and now grow outward from your actual skull, and now it can start getting that radiation from that sun, and now your telepathy starts to grow. So yeah, you all can get to this point. It's just that you still have the seed, you still have the type 0. So number 5 was enchantment. Number 6 is knocking out a crowd. Like, if you've seen in so let's say Professor X, okay? So if you've seen in the movie Logan, where he has the seizures, and when Professor X has a seizure, like, everyone is like, they can't move, right? Like, he now has a death grips on their minds. Actually, I should probably back that up. That would make more sense for when I was talking about taking somebody's motor controls from them. Well, all those people, sorry, I have to back up on this. All those people were thinking that something's wrong with them. They can't move. What's happening? But yet he was controlling their motor functions, and nobody could move, right? They were just sitting there. They couldn't move. So I guess that's a better way of explaining that, was when Professor X was having a seizure, and people were able to think their own thoughts, but why can't they move their body? Well, because advanced telepathy from this being, advanced telepathy was stopping them from moving their body, right? So yeah, that's sorry, that's a better way to explain that. Knocking out a crowd would be more, a crowd knockout would be a being with advanced telepathy, and I know that the Greys can do this, like the true Greys, they can do this, and a lot of other beings can do this as well. They could literally, and this is why I hear people talk about, oh yeah, they're going to fight aliens and stuff. You have no idea what you're talking about. Like, a being with advanced telepathy, like the Greys and other alien species, they can walk into, let's just say, a crowded Walmart, and knock out every single body in there. They don't have to look at you. You don't have to make eye contact. Their mind is so powerful and their telepathy is so powerful that it can literally black out everyone. Like everyone in the store will just fall to the ground, just fall completely blacked out. If you've ever blacked out before and maybe you don't even know why you blacked out, maybe there was a being that knocked you out. Think of that. How crazy is that? That could be scary for some people. But if you've ever had a blackout before, then like you just completely went out. You don't know what happened. You just completely blacked out. Well, a being with advanced telepathy can just do that to you at will. And not only can they do that to you at will, they can do it to an entire crowd of people. Not 1, 2, 3. We're talking hundreds of people and knock them all completely out. And that's because the telepathy is so powerful that they can send out a signal that just shuts everybody else's, active conscious signaling down and just put you to sleep and knock you all completely out. That's how powerful advanced telepathy is. So when people are talking about, oh, they're going to fight these alien stuff, it's like, how are you going to fight somebody when you're asleep? They'll put you to sleep. You'll be knocked out. And if they can do this with their minds and they're that intelligent, it's a good possibility they can create devices to do this for them as well. Maybe like a knockout grenade. You throw this little thing in there and a signal just comes out of it and it just knocks out everybody in the room. Just knocks out everyone. Maybe you can have a massive ship that flies over top and you can project a signal out and it knocks out an entire city, like let's say all of New York. It just knocks out everybody because the signal is put out that is knocks out people's conscious thought and puts them to sleep. So that's how powerful weaponizing telepathy is. Once again, like you can see how powerful this is. And number 7, and like I said, there's more things that I could add to this list, but I figured this would be enough. Number 7 is God mode. What is God mode? Oh, this doesn't sound good. No, it is not good. God mode is when a being with advanced telepathy can make an entire group of people worship them. Like literally worship them. And they will rationalize why this person is, let's just say Jesus, right? Or they were sent here by God. Now, this person you known before, they never would act like this. They never had. You're like, what is going on? What? And for some reason, they're just following this person and just believing whatever this person says. But we know that this doesn't even line up with that person's values, and they would never do this. But now they're justifying killing another human being for this person that they've never met, they've never talked to, but this person just says things and has just memorized. This is like enchantment on another whole level. Like I'm talking about not just loving something or someone, but actually making them worship this person, this being, build statues to them, maybe make currency for them, like literally they can take over an entire nation of people through their words because they're using advanced telepathy. That's actually when you start to hear them and you're hearing them speak, they're actually opening up a channel. And once your channel is opened up and once that's opened up with them, they've got you and they've ensnared you to the point to where there are people who will, you wonder why some people like Heaven's Gate, right? Listen to the crazy ass stuff that Applegate, I forget what that guy's name is, something Applegate or whatever, was telling these people, and against their rational thinking, some of these people you'd be like, wow, and then they, committed mass suicide. You're like, what would make all these people commit mass suicide? That's a small level of God mode. We're talking much, much more dangerous, far more dangerous. You can put an entire country into a civil war in God mode. People who are going to believe that this person is a second coming of God, right? This, like believing that they are, appointed by God to lead this nation to be a better nation or whatever. This is a God mode telepathy. This is a being that is extremely powerful and could do a lot of damage. And that being may not even look anything like the humans, but you all see this being looking exactly like the humans, right? Like, that's how dangerous this being can be. Or maybe this being's just inhabiting the skin of a clone or whatever, and there's actually another being inside of there, and they're doing this, right? And they're controlling and manipulating an entire nation of people, to where now that people aren't thinking of this person as just a leader of their people, but they're thinking this person's supposed to be the leader of the world. And that is extremely dangerous, and that is God mode with telepathy, because now you're actually manipulating an entire world, right? Not forcing everybody to believe, but enough people to believe to, do some damage to the people of that planet. And with that, I hope you understand a little bit more about telepathy and the fact that it's much more deeper. It can be far more dangerous than what you're told in the movies. It is all of those things you see in the movies and stuff put together in one being, not just Wanda Maximoff can only do this, Professor X can do that, but imagine mixing all of them and all the other telepathic fantasy things you can think of into one being being able to do all of that stuff. And that is what advanced telepathy is, and I hope that it helps you understand things a little bit more in perspective of these beings that you're dealing with, and respecting it a little bit more. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time you have left.
Logan, my tolerance for your smoking in the mansion notwithstanding, continue smoking that in here, and you'll spend the rest of your days under the belief that you're a 6-year-old girl.
You do that?
I'd have Jean braid your hair. Welcome back.